Nerdrotic.com.
Last week, we learned that Marvel is racist, and so is Kevin Feige, and they canceled Wonder Man, and they canceled Blade. It looks like the DCU is following suit. They have canceled all the black projects, and some people are upset. We're not going to get our Amanda Waller show.
Oh, no. That's awful.
Whoa.
I'm heartbroken.
The fact that this is news is funny because it's like
hilarious.
We've been saying this for about 6 to 9 months that this show's not going to happen, that Paradise Lost isn't going to happen, that the Booster Gold show probably isn't going to happen either. And now it's like official that, oh, by the way, the Amanda Waller show that, according to James Gunn just months ago, is still in development, is not actually going to happen. Paradise Lost, the Amazonian Game of Thrones set on Themyscira, which, could you imagine how bad that would be with James Gunn anywhere close to it? That's not going to happen. Oh, no.
I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Let's scroll down a little bit and see what's actually canceled. Oh, pretty much everything Ryan just said.
Oh, sorry.
All the women and the black people were canceled. And this is a terrible state of affairs we're in from the DCU. There's Catwoman. They were thinking about doing a Catwoman show from the Batman, and they didn't do it. Oh, and the Penguin, the one fucking success that they've had. Yeah, they're not going to do a season 2.
What?
No, because it embarrassed Gunn. So the reports of Gunn and Matt Reeves like not getting along, I believe every word of them.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves was there first, and then Gunn came in with the deal. And this is how fucking dumb Warner Brothers is. They didn't think about like, man, this might muddy the waters for Batman, our fucking arguably our biggest IP that we actually own. So they let the Matt Reeves movie come out. They released Penguin, which is a hit that I loved. It's better than the damn Batman movie. And James Gunn's like, nah, we're not going to do a second movie. There might be a reason for this, though. I'm trying to find it in this article. There's a couple of lines here that describe it. But meanwhile, separate television shows starring Catwoman and Poison Ivy were recently pitched to DC Studios at HBO. This is from Dick Sucking Film. Sorry, Discussing Film. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a suggestion, guys, with the Catwoman, proposed Catwoman and Poison Ivy shows or video or movies. How about a fucking Batman show?
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
A Batman show would kill.
It would.
I think there's a reason for that, though. Whether they know it or not, it's too much of a risk. Every single show, save for maybe a handful, specifically with HBO. If we look at like the Disney model, every time they put something to a show, it degrades the property. I don't think we could survive a Batman show. Look at Lanterns. We're getting in a couple days. That I'm dreading that we have to watch that because it's just going to be painful. That one's going to hurt.
I agree with you in theory, and with a lot of heroes, I think you'd be right. With the Batman, I think it would absolutely be a hit. Like even if you took, and I can't believe I'm saying this, take Matt Reeves' Batman and turn that into a TV show.
I think Batman plays the TV show. Batman plays the TV show better because, to be honest, a lot of us around my age, our first introduction to like a long form Batman shit was a Batman TV series, right? Yep. In Batman the Animated Series, and I think
so good.
Oh, I thought you were talking about 66 Batman.
No. Sorry, I'm talking about people my age, Gary.
Holy lilacs, Batman.
Yeah. But I think that just because of the detective aspect, the fact you have a couple episodes of like overarching plots, multiple different random villains that get thrown in throughout the season, I think it could work. But I think you still have to have a premiere Batman, like in the cinema, running along with that. You can't just abandon Batman in theaters just to do the TV show, or else I do think you'd be in danger of it not feeling like a theatrical property anymore. But like for some of these like characters like the Catwoman and the Poison Ivy, you have to wonder like, are those the Matt Reeves Catwoman and Poison Ivy? Because like is that what they're doing with that? Because both of those, we saw one in The Batman, and Poison Ivy supposedly is supposed to be in The Batman too. So I don't know.
Good question. But I still think Batman would work in a TV show because he's not going to fight a giant energy beam going up in space.
No.
You know, he's a grounded superhero, and we haven't gotten a ton of that. And if you have more time with his rogues gallery and actually him being a detective, it would be great, and it wouldn't cost that much money.
No.
You know, you make Gotham a character. I was just fucking stupid for not even trying this.
I've talked about this like a few different times. Like, yeah, Batman almost lends himself to that. Like, even if you get an actor that you can lock down for like 10 years and watch him go through the different iterations, like you could do Batman Year One. I mean, you do entire season with Nightfall. I mean, there's so much you can do there, and like go through, and like you said, his rogues gallery like doesn't require a whole lot. You just got to get good actors.
It's no different than adapting a fantasy novel.
Yeah,
except this one you could end it somewhere.
Yes,
or keep it going forever. Nightfall could be season 5 or 6. It's something you build up to.
Yep,
Hush.
100%.
You just adapt.
I mean, they already have a blueprint. We've talked about this before, but the animated series, I mean, that's your blueprint.
That's what I was thinking.
Aesthetically, yes.
Yeah.
That could be the most popular, biggest TV series ever made if they made Batman properly in a full-on TV series, going through so many of his rogues gallery and the classic arcs. But Warner Brothers doesn't want to make money. They're like you've said it multiple times.
They're allergic to it.
They're so stupid. They don't
imagine each season you're introducing like a seminal Batman villain, and then you have like a B villain, and then the A villain, and and then a new character. You know, you bring in Robin eventually, like a real Robin.
Yep.
I mean, you could build up to the whole Bat family. There is so much like meat that you could dive into that we rarely ever get to see because we're stuck in the film formula where they barely ever progress his arc or story very far.
We either don't get a Robin or we get Brave and the Bold where it's the fucking fourth Robin.
Yeah,
exactly.
Christ, the only Robin we got was in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That's fucking pathetic.
There's the problem. Even if they did a Batman show, even if they lead with Batman just to sink you in, it would become a Catwoman show, or it would become a Poison Ivy show, or a Batgirl show, or God knows what.
Batwoman.
Well, when you have people openly saying now, like, well, we got to apologize for heroism, or James Bond is the villain. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Hollywood who genuinely believe Batman's a fascist.
Oh yeah, well, he's privileged and is beating up on homeless, underprivileged people who did nothing wrong. Even though
that's kind of base, but yeah.
Well, it's also what we saw with War of the Rohirrim, where she said we had all these great male characters, but what really spoke to me was this nameless woman that was among them. I wanted to expand her story, and so it's what the creators are interested in rather than what the audience is that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's because I can dream of a perfect Batman TV series that would be wonderful, but I don't want them to do it because they don't have the talent to do it, and they would make an absolute travesty as a result. And so Hollywood is just so degenerate, corrupt, stupid. They don't know how to handle anything. The ideology has infested them. And I'm at a point I don't want to see them adapt the things I love.
Part of the thing about why they can't have heroes because they believe in equality and so everybody is the same means that characters are interchangeable. So they see absolutely no difference between a Batman show and a Catwoman show. So if they personally want a Catwoman show, they think they could just swap the characters in and none of the audiences will care.
Yep.
So one of the problems, DCU is canceling all these projects, and we're wondering, where's Batman? Where's Wonder Woman? Well, it looks like, for one, we don't want to use this as an out for James Gunn. James Gunn has fucked up the DCU. It's cooked no matter what the fuck happens. Prior to the merger, none of this shit was going to work.
Yep.
Now they're going to start blaming it on the merger, and there might actually be some legitimate blame. Because, and I'm trying to find it in this article, in the merger, everything's kind of on hold. So you can't sign any big deals. So you can sign a 1-year contract, a 2-year contract under a certain amount of money, but you can't green light a film that's anywhere between where did I see it? It's like $30 and $400 million. It needs to be signed off on by David Ellison. Like, he has first right of refusal on any contracts. So that's why you can't bring in a Batman and announce it, because they would have announced Batman by now. They would have done it.
But hold on, they did announce Batman. They had time to do this. This is on James Gunn
Yes.
and no one else. They announced Batman Brave and the Bold in 2023. Am I right about that? 2022, 2023? When James Gunn held his little press conference at the fucking Holiday Inn. Like, as opposed to being on Hall H at Comic-Con, they were at the fucking Motel 6 in fucking Beverly Hills or something.
Dude.
And they did that little thing. All of those projects, most of them have been fucking canceled. They announced it a long time ago. They had plenty of time to do this. But now, whether you were Warner Brothers or whether you're Paramount, you know what I'm not letting James Gunn do? I'm not letting him fuck up more than he already has. So no, if you want to introduce Wonder Woman in your Man of Tomorrow, which is going to be your last fucking project in the DC universe before we fire your ass, before your contract is up, no, we're not going to let you do that. You want to introduce Batman in that movie? Fuck no. We're not going to let you do all this on your way out before we kick you to the fucking curb. You know what I mean?
No, and they're already having to deal with a bunch of that. Peter Jackson bringing in Stephen Colbert to do a Lord of the Rings is a gotcha to, well, a lot of things. The president and David Ellison. And don't think that wasn't part of the motivation, because Stephen Colbert's never written a fucking movie. All right. Like, look at Kurtzman with Star Trek. Look at how much shit he put out before Ellison was fully in control and could stop it.
And they made it part of the announcement. Right at the very end, he's like, well, and we thought you wouldn't have time to write this, but now because you've been fired.
Yeah.
And so drawing attention to it is sort of rubbing it in at the end of the announcement.
So spite and pettiness is part of it, right? And they're going to try to hamper Ellison. Shit, we were I couldn't find the place in the panel we were at, Disparu, but I remember distinctly somebody taking a shot at Paramount. The owners of Star Trek in that panel.
Yeah, I think they said something along the lines of the merger, and the merger's only going through because of their like connections to Trump and all that kind of stuff. Like for a panel about Star Trek, the amount of time they spent talking about Trump was wild.
Half of it, almost half of the entire panel.
Did you see the start of it when you were out of the room where they spent like 7 minutes of hate about someone in the White House?
Stephen Miller. So they complained about Stephen Miller saying he's a Star Trek fan, and then they spend the rest of the panel, I'm doing a video on this, talking about diversity, inclusion, compassion, empathy. But these fuckers, fuck them, you know?
I think there's a quote or something along the lines of, I don't know how someone with that much filth in his brain can like Star Trek. And then this is during like 10 minutes of just hate on the guy.
They were talking about Gary, I think.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were there.
Behind his back, yeah.
It's just so funny that these people claim they're the tolerant ones and it's all about kindness when they're the most bigoted people under the...
Well, those are such easy things to say, right? Empathy, kindness, compassion. But the little asterisk is, as long as you agree with us.
As long as you agree with us.
That's the easiest thing to do in the world.
Yes.
It's like an unspoken sleight of hand.
Yeah. All diversity except diversity of opinion. That's the only diversity that does not count.
And also
it's
white.
because you got to understand, these are virtues. These are not beliefs, they are virtues. In the same way that religious virtues exist. They exist a priori to anything else. They hold them. You do not. They are in a state of grace. You are not.
So the reason things are getting held up, and you're right, Ryan, he had a chance to get Batman earlier, or did he? I'm starting to think that Matthew Reeves has some control over the character overall as part of his deal. I don't know why. I can't logically figure out a way in my head. Like, yeah, why would you would announce the movie and then worry about casting later because it wasn't your highest priority? Remember, it was an 8-year plan, Ryan, that he planned out.
Fucking chapter 1, gods and monsters, and all we've got is dog shit.
Gobbledygook and shit. That's what it is.
The thing is, we did have some pretty clear answers from the moment that happened about Batman. Because one of the first questions we all asked was, Matt Reeves' Batman, is he part of the DC universe? Blah, blah, blah. And all those questions were said, hey, no, we can have these two things going on. The one thing we won't do is put out 2 Batman films in the same year. That was in 2023. That's what they told us.
Yep.
So if there really was, if Matt Reeves was not allowing him to do anything Batman related outside of Robert Pattinson,
I don't know if it's
why the
Matt
fuck
Reeves.
announce something?
They do this shit all the time.
Yeah, well,
they
it's
announce
possible.
stuff, and then legal goes through and goes, wait a minute. And it might not even be Matt Reeves. It might be Warner Brothers.
It's possible that they have like some kind of thing where, you know, you can't do this because it would infringe on the profits of another property, because you don't want that happening and people getting confused about it. I mean, it's part of the reason we haven't seen a Batman TV show, is because there has to be something on a book somewhere that says that they can't do this, or that they're not going to greenlight these projects because he's so profitable for movies. But I mean, it would make sense because, yeah, I mean, audiences are going to get confused by that. I mean, they will, you know, most normie audiences will be like, wait, which Batman is this? I don't understand. There's two Batman. Like, I don't get this, you know, but I mean, there's some people that don't even know, like, there's a new Superman. Like, Henry Cavill looks different.
There's people that don't know what fucking Marvel and DC is, and they expect
Yeah.
fucking Batman to show up in a spider. But people are fucking dumb, okay? Like,
Well, they just don't pay attention. So, like, they'll see Joker in The Dark Knight, and then when a Joker movie comes out, they assume it's the same character. I don't really think it's that unreasonable. I think it's actually that I think they should be building a universe that they stop rebooting all the time. I think having 3 different Spider-Men was like a bad idea in the first place, because yeah, we can know all this and track everyone and the directors and stuff, but your average guy in the street just sees Spider-Man and assumes it's the same one he saw last year.
If you work any amount of time in Hollywood, I mean more than a week, as an extra, or you see the inner workings for just a moment, you get just a quick view of it, you will marvel at how incompetent that industry is, and it's a miracle that it moves forward in any way, shape, or form, because it is filled with a bunch of dumb people with a lot of money. And then there's a bunch of dumb people who go there and work for fucking free, like a lot of hours for free. It's kind of astonishing.
Yeah.
When I saw how much money's wasted there, it's like, oh my God, you're giving the government a run for its money. The reason this might be held up is because of the merger, right? While the company can do deals as part of the ordinary course of business, those deals are restricted to lasting only to 2 years past deal close. Anything longer would require giving Paramount first rights to negotiate. Sales or acquisitions of content may require Paramount approval if they hit a certain financial threshold. This is a big threshold, between $30 and $400 million, depending on the deal, the length, and other factors. The length, ladies.
Hey,
that was the issue that was caused in the South Park battle, with Skydance disagreeing about the value and length of the deal that Paramount was prepared to execute with South Park. So that's probably why we're not getting any Batman or Wonder Woman, other than, aside from James Gunn being completely incompetent and having plenty of time to do it, as Ryan pointed out, and he waited too long, and now he's fucked, and it's over. Like, the DCU is over, and I think cinematic universes outside of Marvel, which is going to take a long, I think they're over too, and they should be at this point. If you want to make DC movies, we just gave you a blueprint with the Batman series that they should make. Just adapt graphic novels right now. Just randomly adapt graphic novels and stories. And I say this as a fan who wanted the interconnected universe a lot, like my whole life, and now I've seen it. I'm like, be careful what you wish for.
Yep, pretty much.
The thing is, though, when a interconnected universe works, it works really well. But that first Avengers movie where they came together, that was just a dream come true for me. I'm saddened by the fact that, you know, they can't do it. It's too much to manage. It requires more talent than they have, because when it does work, it's great.
Well, it's like the shit writes itself. It's not even a difficult thing. You make a Superman movie, you make a Batman movie, make a Wonder Woman movie, make a fucking Justice League movie, fucking keep going. But like it's all a rush to try to catch up to the MCU. We need to be making this money, and I'm like, you guys forget they set this shit up for a while, and it was a gamble for them to do this, not thinking that these characters were going to blow up the way that they did. So you go, okay, well, if that's not working and we're not going to be able to catch up to them, and we've seen multiple failed connected universes because they're all trying to fucking set up stuff and seed shit instead of just making a good movie and going, cool, that movie succeeded, we'll make the next good movie. That movie succeeded, we'll make the next good movie. Just fucking make a Justice League movie. Just say, fuck it all. We're making a Justice League movie. Here's the cast. It's a Justice League movie, and then if it does well and people like those characters and if people are happy, cool. If not, go fucking adapt another, like Gary said, adapt a comic book.
The news is probably bullshit, 99.9% bullshit, but Zack Snyder doing a Dark Knight Returns would be great. I've always said that guy would be great for Dark Knight Returns, and fucking bring back Ben Affleck. He's old enough now, you know, like fuck it. Like
I don't want Snyder making anything anymore at this point. So
he is excellent at adaptation. He is a terrible fucking writer. That guy can't write a fucking movie to save his life. But if you give him somebody else's shit, real good at adapting it.
I mean, look, like it would be basically like 300. You know what I mean? When you adapted the 300 graphic
Frank
novel,
Miller, yeah.
Right? If you just did that with Dark Knight Returns, pretty.
It would
probably
be
I mean, he obviously
puts
took
down
a lot of
his camera.
inspiration for that for his actual Batman in the like in his DCU.
But we're at an impasse here, though, like culturally, as far as superhero movies is concerned, because if we look at Spider-Man right now is proving what the maximum is that you can earn for a superhero film if you're Spider-Man. Everything else is below that.
Yeah.
Like, so now they've got everybody has to be looking like, okay, we're starting to reach a ceiling. Whereas before we didn't know what superhero movie ceilings looked like. Now we actually do with Spider-Man. And the fact that, and Odin can correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that we are seeing Spider-Man starting to hit that cap where $3 billion is not in play. It's like, well, wait a minute. And that movie was like kind of middling, and middling as far as story is concerned has massive problems that we'll be discussing for ages now, I think, with the Jean Grey problem. They can't write better than that. So if Spider-Man is the best they can do, and then that's how much money can be made, what are you going to do? Booster Gold? Lanterns is cooked. Booster Gold is cooked. You cannot beat this.
Well, yeah, but like, if this movie goes to make 2.6 billion, a solo superhero movie, we've actually raised the cap for what a solo superhero movie can do. If this is the case, you know, whereas who knows then what the cap is for the massive, huge combo things. But the reality is that they need to be more selective over the things that they greenlight. I think there's part of that that's going on in both these places anyway. It's why we're seeing so many things canceled. Like they need to be more selective about what they're greenlighting. For a while, they thought they could get away, and maybe understandably so in that office where it's like, and everything we're putting out, it doesn't matter if it's Captain Marvel, whatever, Black Panther, they're all making billions of dollars. But that's obviously not the reality. So when in that era where they got so full of themselves and thought they couldn't fail, and they just started greenlighting Ironheart and Miss Marvel and all that She-Hulk, all this dog shit, I think they have to get back. And I think most of them are already drawing themselves back into this place where they have to be more selective about the things that they greenlight.
And budgets have to come down because, you know, a Ghost Rider movie and a Blade movie can succeed with a like $100 million. That still seems a bit high.
Pretty high.
Yeah. It should be like 70, right? Ghost Rider is going to be effects heavy. Blade really isn't. That you can get away with the $70 million Blade movie.
Get good choreographers, and you can do pretty much everything practical effects, and that shit would look awesome. Like you really don't have to work hard at a Blade film. It is literally one of the easiest fucking superheroes you could do. He kills vampires with a sword, and you could just have people dressed like vampires. And they were like, yeah, but like, how do we insert like feminism into this? You go, you don't. He kills vampires with a sword.
Blade
that's not going to work if you can't.
The hardest physics equation. You have the hardest physics equation with all the letters and whatever those smart math guys
squiggly
do.
lines and
then you
shit
put
they make
Blade.
Up. Yep.
It's because of the source material of how it started. So if it had been like a white vampire killer, they would have just race swapped him, called it a day, and kept everything else there. But because it already had like diversity added into it, they always have to make everything worse. So now we have to add feminism because now we can't just say where it is.
Well, because
we could do a Blade movie about racism. We could just call it Sinners, right, Mike?
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.